I have a question, Stuart. This is Paul.
Yes, well,
Um, I've decided I'm going to start talking to my grandson. He's 10 years old about spirituality. And I was wondering if you have any thoughts about how you might do something like that.
uh, I don't really know what to say about that, other than if he's ready to hear these kind of things, then talk to him about them. But don't stuff them down his throat, you know? If he'd rather play, soccer and run around with his friends, and that's kids, you know? I mean, kids basically live a spiritual life. They live in the moment. And I think it's not a good idea to try to stuff any kind of religion or spiritual practice down a child's throat. But if he's open to listening and there's something in him that's connected to it, I would go slowly. I would kind of feed him very slowly and see where it goes. I mean, you have to be very conscious. You know, a lot of kids that grow up in ashrams and places of that nature, they rebel against it. They don't want, they don't want to be involved in it, and they don't want to hear about it. They want their own path, how they're going to find, some kind of inner life, God, spirit. I would do it very cautiously, Paul, with a lot of love and a lot of understanding that if he's not ready to listen to this, don't force it on him. And the best thing you can do for a child, a grandchild, just love them unconditionally. Let them know that you're always there for them, that your heart is big enough to where they fit in. And you do that with a child, and it'll do more to help them grow spiritually than any talks about Kundalini yoga, meditation, metaphysics, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I feel about it. Uh, I never was a big fan of indoctrinating young people. I remember years ago in Texas, I'll never forget this. There's a bunch of kids that used to live in the ashram. And, they played together this. And one day I walked into the meditation room and there were three kids playing meditation. Two of them was sitting at the foot of the altar. One of them was sitting on the altar in cross legs. And he was transmitting Shakti with his hands to the kids. And the kids were falling over. I mean, I just stopped. I looked. I had one of them. I just chuckled. It was really so cute. I mean, it's not like they knew what they were doing. They didn't. They're copying what they saw their parents doing and the parents' teacher doing. So I don't know about trying to educate kids in Kundalini yoga. The best education I think you can do for children is love them absolutely without conditions. They always know there's a place in your heart for them, that you truly love them. And there's no better way of transmitting a spiritual life than that. And one day they'll ask you, what do you do? And, then they can be introduced. I mean, I have that with my own daughter. She's now getting really interested in doing the meditation. And, for years I used to kind of talk to her about it. And she, oh, yeah, that sounds great. And boom, off with her friends. And I learned, yeah, keep your mouth shut. If the time comes that she really wants to be involved, she'll get involved. And now it's getting closer and closer. She just moved to Florida, and she doesn't have internet, so she hasn't been able to come. But she told me yesterday, I'm getting internet in, I don't know, a week or something, and I'll be able to start attending meditation classes. That's a miracle. But what made it possible is I never try to force it on or even lecture her about it. When she used to do crazy things, the only thing I would ask her is, say, what did you learn? What did you learn? Did it teach you anything about living, in a better way? And she would smile, and she said, yes, it did. So that's my suggestion with children. Just love them unconditionally. There's always a place in your heart for them. Have patience. Don't try to lecture them on, on proper Dharma and karma and Shwama and all this stuff. Let them find out. They got to go through their own experiences. They have to be beaten up by life a little bit, and everybody is, in order to finally say, well, what do I really want? And then they've got to find something that works for them. It might not be Kundalini yoga. Who knows what it could be? Something else. It might be reading a book about, by Thomas Merton, where he becomes a priest. And you never know what does it for somebody. So that's my suggestion. Have patience, go slowly. And I know your grandson, he's a ball of fire. I don't know if he's still the same way, but last time I saw him, it was a boil of fire. And
Yeah.
let him find out. Love him and let him find out. And one day he might come to you and say, Grandpa, teach me something. And that is extraordinary. I had that with my mother. I talked about it a lot. I was the black sheep of the family. I was the nutty son and grandson who had gurus and swamis and traveling, hitchhiking all over the world. And one day I get a phone call. Can I come to your meditation class? And I was just flabbergasted. I understood. I said, yes, come. And it's a matter, really, it comes down to each and every one of our growth. And things, when you grow deep inside yourself, things happen that affect the people around you. And they begin to take notice that there's something special going on inside you. And they maybe want to know more about it. That's what I suggest in terms of dealing with young people, dealing with your parents, dealing with anybody, frankly. Just have patience, continue to grow, and something will happen where you're connected with them and they'll see you do something that is amazing, that will open their interest to find out more about what you've learned and what you teach and what's going on in your life. So I hope that helps. I'm not sure. It certainly worked for me in a very good way.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I saw it happen yesterday with somebody who, I won't tell you who it was, but after years and years of studying and coming from literally a place of, just almost like the lowest of the low, the level this person was in. Something happened yesterday that was such a miracle that it literally brought tears to my eyes. And it was one of the greatest things that's happened in my life to show how extraordinary this meditation is. And I mean that. I had tears in my eyes when this took place. And it showed me how amazing this work is if people do it and work on it and do it over time, and the kind of rewards that come and the levels that come in their life. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I never lectured my daughter. She would do crazy things, especially in her teenage years. Whoa. And I'd look at her and say, what did you learn? What did you learn? And she would start to laugh. And one day she said to me, you know what I really love about you? You never lectured me. You let me find out things in my life that taught me a very good deal about the way I have to live. Does anyone else have a question? Like to ask? Hey, if there are no more questions, there'll be class on Thursday. Thank you. God bless you all. And I say it all the time. I'm sure you're sick and tired of hearing it, but it's a blessing to have all of you in my life, to find a place for each and every person in my heart, and to truly be able to do this work with all of you. You've become a great teacher for me, and I think that's amazing. Rudy was a great teacher. I needed a teacher. I went to 50 of them and I couldn't find anybody. And it was always right in front of my nose. So thank you, and God bless you all. And there'll be meditation class again on Thursday. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
Bye. Have a good evening.